He needs it more than you, Anna. My mother's voice was cool, almost indifferent, as she justified draining my college fund, the $45,000 I'd been saving since I was 12. Marcus has a brilliant business idea. This investment could change his life. You're already doing well in your career. I stood in the kitchen gripping my coffee mug so tightly, my knuckles turned white. My name is Anna Mitchell. I'm 28. And today, I found out my parents gave my entire education fund to my stepbrother Marcus, the golden child who entered our lives when Mom remarried 5 years ago. Established, I repeated, struggling to keep my voice level. That money was for my master's degree. I've been planning this for years. You helped me open that account. Your father, she corrected sharply, isn't here anymore. Richard is your father now. And we decided Marcus needs this more. He's only 23. This could be his big break. I thought of every weekend I'd spent tutoring, every summer I worked double shifts at the cafe, every birthday check carefully deposited into that account. Meanwhile, Marcus had coasted through college, partying and switching majors like it was a game. Did you even ask me? I whispered, though I already knew the answer. The account was under your name, but Richard and I are still co-signers, she said, turning away to fiddle with the coffee machine. We didn't need to ask. And honestly, you're being selfish. Family helps family. That phrase hit me like a slap. Where was that help when I was drowning in undergrad tuition? When I worked 60-hour weeks to afford rent during my internship? Where's Marcus now? I asked, though I already knew. Miami. He's scouting locations for the business. It's going to be amazing, Anna. A crypto cafe and VR lounge. The next big thing. Course it was. Just like his last big thing. The smoothie delivery startup that never delivered, or the pet fashion brand that fizzled after one sun-damaged dog sweater. But every flop, according to my mother and Richard, was just another learning experience for Marcus. I set my mug down slowly, mind already shifting gears. When did you transfer the money? Last week. Marcus had to act fast on the lease. She beamed, as if proud of their impulsiveness. He's already started the paperwork. Isn't it exciting? Last week. The same week I told her I'd been accepted into my dream master's program. 2 years of hard work finally paying off. She hadn't even asked me about it. Now I knew why. I have to go, I said quietly, gathering my bag. Meeting. Don't be like this, Anna. You should be happy for your brother. He's finally finding his path. Brother. The word rang hollow. Marcus had never felt like family. More like a storm that blew in and swallowed everything in its path. Now he'd taken my future too. But driving home, something inside me shifted. The grief and anger sharpened into clarity. I'd spent years being the reliable one, the one who smiled through unfairness. No more. I got home and called Dr. Patterson, my old environmental science professor. Remember that research position in Norway? Is it still open? Yes, but it's competitive. It only covers basic expenses. And it's a 3-year commitment. I thought you were planning to stay local. I was, I said, thinking of my mother's proud smile and Marcus' VR empire. Plans change. Can you send me the details? That night, I sat at my kitchen table, surrounded by applications. My savings were gone, but I still had something Marcus never would. Grit, focus, and a real plan. Later, a text from Mom lit up my phone. Marcus wants to host a family dinner next week when he's back. He'll present his business plans. You'll come, right? Be supportive. I glanced at the Norway application, then back at the message. Course, I replied. Wouldn't miss it for the world. The family dinner was exactly what I expected. Marcus sat at the head of the table, animatedly describing his vision for Crypto Vibe Lounge, while Mom and Richard looked on like he was Silicon Valley royalty. We'll have top-tier VR headsets, he said, waving his fork. People can trade crypto while chilling in a virtual beach. Total game changer. I quietly pushed food around my plate, watching his performance. He wore a new blazer, the price tag still tucked into the sleeve, and a Rolex I was 90% sure was fake. Anna, Mom snapped, noticing my silence. You could at least pretend to be interested, my mother snapped. Your brother is sharing his business plan. I smiled and set down my fork. Actually, I have some news of my own. Can it wait? Richard cut in. Marcus is about to explain the lease deal in Miami. Oh, you mean the property he's leasing with my money? My voice was calm, too calm. No, I don't think it can wait. Silence dropped over the table like a curtain. Marcus's grin faltered. I've been accepted into a prestigious research program, I said, pulling the acceptance letter from my bag. It's with the Norwegian Ecological Research Institute. Full funding. 3-year commitment. Starts next month. My mother's face drained of color. Norway. But what about your master's program here? Well, since my savings were redistributed, I had to consider other options, I said. Turns out this was the better one. They're even covering my relocation. You can't be serious, Richard said, sputtering. You can't just leave. What about family? I looked him dead in the eye. Family helps family. That's what you said, right? Consider this me helping myself. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. Anna. About the money. Once CryptoVibe takes off, I'll pay you back. Double. Triple, even. That won't be necessary, I said, rising from my chair. Consider it an expensive lesson. For all of us. Mom followed me to the door, her voice cracking. Anna, please. You're being impulsive. Marcus needs us right now. His business. His business, I cut her off, is no longer my concern. Neither are his future failures. Or yours. I paused at the door, finally seeing it clearly. I wasn't just the daughter. I was the backup plan. The errand runner. The default emotional and logistical support system. Who's going to help with the holidays? Or drive Richard's mother to her appointments? Marcus might need more help. I'm sure you'll manage, I said quietly. Marcus is a business genius after all. The next few weeks flew by. I sold most of my furniture, shipped what I needed to Norway, and ignored the barrage of guilt-laced texts. Marcus's perfect Miami location turned out to be a condemned building with multiple code violations. The deal collapsed. He lost the deposit. My mother's messages grew increasingly frantic. Marcus is devastated. He needed this. Richard's mom keeps asking for you. How could you abandon your family like this? Marcus thought you were part of his support team. I didn't respond. Instead, I focused on what was ahead. Dr. Patterson had connected me with the Norwegian research team, and we'd already begun discussions on my role in their environmental impact study. I hadn't felt this purposeful in years. The day before my flight, there was a knock at the door. Marcus. He looked different. No designer clothes, no fake Rolex. Just jeans and a t-shirt. He stood awkwardly in my half-packed apartment. I messed up, he said. I shouldn't have taken your money. No, I said, folding a sweater into my suitcase. You shouldn't have. Mom and Richard, they made it sound like you didn't mind giving things up. For the family. For me. I never thought about what that actually cost you. I paused, looked at him. They taught me to take, he said. And they taught you to give. Until there was nothing left. It was probably the first real insight I'd ever heard him speak aloud. Good luck in Norway, he said, turning to go. I hope you find what you're looking for. I watched him leave, unsure if I felt closure, hope, or simply relief. Norway changed everything. The midnight sun, the crisp Arctic air, the sense of distance from a family that had never seen me clearly. It all peeled something heavy off my shoulders. I wasn't anyone's fallback plan anymore. I wasn't Anna, the good daughter, the one who made it easier for everyone else. I was just Anna. And that, for the first time in my life, was more than enough. My research team became my new family. One that valued competence over compliance, results over empty loyalty. 6 months into the program, the tone of my mother's messages began to change. The guilt gave way to forced cheerfulness. Marcus has a new business idea: importing vintage vinyl records. Richard's mother misses you, but we're managing. Everything's fine. I'd already heard, through Dr. Patterson, that Marcus's cryptocurrency cafe had never opened. The money, my money, had vanished into another failed venture. But for the first time it didn't shake me. I was too busy publishing research, leading environmental impact studies, and building a real future. Then the call came. Anna. My mother's voice was small, hesitant. We need to talk. I sat in my small but warm apartment overlooking the Norwegian fjords, the northern lights flickering across the sky. I'm listening. Marcus's ventures. They didn't work out. Richard invested more. Took out loans. We're at risk of losing the house. The silence between us stretched like a frozen river. I see, I said finally. And what would you like me to do about it? Well, we thought maybe you could come home. Help us figure things out. You've always been so good with planning, with numbers. Mom, I said gently, I'm not coming back to fix this. Have a life here. A purpose. More important than family. There was again the guilt. This is my family now, I said, glancing at the photos on my wall. My team celebrating a published paper, snowy hikes with friends, holiday dinners full of laughter and respect. They support my dreams. They don't drain them. She inhaled sharply. That's not fair. Neither was taking my savings, I replied. Or expecting me to clean up Marcus's failures. Or treating me like a backup plan instead of a daughter. I ended the call. A few days later, I received an email from Marcus. It was simple, honest. I get it now. Why you left. Mom and Richard keep looking to me for answers I don't have. It's exhausting. I never realized they made you feel like that. I'm sorry, sis. It wasn't guilt I felt, just understanding. Maybe he was finally learning. I replied with a few links. Financial resources, career counselors. Start here. Build something real this time. A year passed. My research gained international recognition. I presented at conferences, contributed to global studies, and even received a major grant to expand our work. My mother's messages came less often, but when they did, they were different. She asked about my research. She tried to understand it. Richard's mother even sent a handwritten note. You were right to go. They needed to learn to solve their own problems. I'm proud of you, dear. The biggest surprise came from Marcus. He'd enrolled in community college to study business. For real this time. No shortcuts, he wrote. I'm working part-time to pay for it. It's harder, but it feels better. Thanks for showing me there's another way. 3 years after I left, I returned for a short visit. The family home was gone, replaced by a modest rental. My mother had taken a job as a school administrator. Her first job since marrying Richard. They both seemed smaller somehow, but also more real. Dinner was home-cooked, quiet, honest. I didn't understand why you had to leave, my mother said softly, reaching for my hand. But now, watching you build this life, I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry we tried to hold you back. Marcus, now working at a local bank while finishing his degree, nodded. You taught us all something about standing on our own feet. Even if it took us a while to learn. I looked around at them, still flawed, still learning, but finally trying. Sometimes, I said, the hardest lessons are the ones we actually remember. That night, as I packed for my flight back to Norway, Marcus helped carry my bags. Think you'll ever move back? He asked. Smiled. No, but I'll visit. On my terms this time. He chuckled. Fair enough. We probably owe you a decade of space. As the plane took off, I watched the city shrink beneath me. And I realized, leaving hadn't been an act of punishment. It was a gift, to myself and unknowingly to them. They gave my savings to Marcus. But in doing so, they gave me something far more valuable. The push to build a life that was finally fully mine.